Weather World CC presents your weekly outlook. March 13th, 2025. Across the nation, the week will begin with a predominantly dry weather pattern across much of the country. A strong high-pressure system over the Atlantic will establish a blocking pattern along the East Coast, fostering warmer-than-average conditions throughout the week. By midweek, a robust low-pressure system moving across the Rockies will initiate cyclogenesis, setting the stage for the next significant weather event to impact most of the country. This system is expected to intensify, with its effects becoming most pronounced from Thursday into Friday. The developing storm will bring a range of severe weather, including intense thunderstorms, heavy rainfall, and powerful snow squalls on the colder side of the system. While not all regions will experience the cold sector's impacts, significant snowfall is anticipated across the Central Plains and the Central Great Lakes states. The country is set to experience a warming trend, with approximately two-thirds of the nation enjoying milder conditions. Many areas in the south and southeast are expected to see temperatures climb into the 80s, while the northeast will bask in above-freezing temperatures, ushering in the early signs of spring. However, this pleasant spell will be short-lived for the Central Plains states, where an incoming weather system will allow winter to make a swift return to the region. The colder temperatures associated with this system are not expected to persist for long, as much of the cold air from the north will retreat relatively quickly before the weekend. While the bulk of the colder air will concentrate around the northern plains and Great Lakes region, temperatures in these areas are anticipated to range from the high 20s to low 30s from Friday into Saturday. As we transition into the following week, a similar weather pattern with temperate conditions is likely to continue, gradually bringing average daytime highs to a more seasonally appropriate spring-like feel. A marginal risk of severe weather is forecast for the southern plains and southeastern states from Friday into Saturday, with convective available potential energy CAPE values expected to exceed 1,000 J per kilogram. The Storm Prediction Center in Norman, Oklahoma, is closely monitoring the evolving situation. Residents in these regions are urged to keep emergency broadcast channels accessible during this period and to adhere to any emergency instructions that may be issued. In the Northeast, from Saturday into Sunday, CAPE readings and convective energy are expected to increase as the system progresses northward. Although there is a slight risk of severe weather, the intensity and exact locations of the most significant impacts remain uncertain. The majority of thunderstorm activity in the Northeast is anticipated to occur on Sunday afternoon. For the Northeast, the Northeast, having recently emerged from a period of cold weather as winter wanes, is now poised to welcome the arrival of spring with considerable intensity, akin to a formidable freight train. Over the coming week, the region is expected to experience several rounds of precipitation, with the potential for severe weather to develop between Saturday and Sunday. A warm front will establish itself across the region by Friday, ushering in milder conditions. However, this respite will be fleeting, as by Sunday, the majority of the Northeast is likely to be impacted by the trailing cold front of the system. The Storm Prediction Center is vigilantly monitoring this developing weather pattern, as the storm is anticipated to generate severe conditions, extending its influence from the southern plains through to the Northeast. This early onset of severe weather is somewhat atypical for the Northeast, where such conditions are traditionally more prevalent from late spring through summer. The current timing, occurring well ahead of the region's typical severe weather season, underscores the unusual nature of this meteorological event. While a substantial portion of the atmospheric instability is concentrated aloft, the anticipated line of storms is expected to generate a range of hazardous conditions. These include high winds capable of causing structural damage, torrential rainfall that may lead to flooding, a potential for hail, and a slight risk of tornado formation or the development of supercell thunderstorms, complex storm systems known for their potential to produce severe weather. The Storm Prediction Center's ongoing vigilance is critical, as the interplay of warm, moist air and upper-level dynamics could further amplify the severity of this system. Residents are encouraged to stay informed through local weather updates and emergency broadcasts, particularly as the situation unfolds over the coming days. This unusual early-season event serves as a reminder of the region's vulnerability to atypical weather patterns, potentially influenced by broader climatic shifts, and highlights the importance of preparedness in the face of such unpredictable atmospheric conditions. The severe weather outlook for the Northeast is witnessing a progressive elevation in its risk assessment, as the Storm Prediction Center (SPC), headquartered in Norman, Oklahoma, maintains vigilant oversight of this developing meteorological scenario. While the SPC currently anticipates that the primary impact of severe weather will concentrate in the southeast, the northeast remains under a slight risk designation. Presently, this risk zone encompasses the entirety of Pennsylvania, extends through New Jersey, and includes southern New York. However, this delineation is subject to revision over the next couple of days, with uncertainty persisting regarding whether the risk zone will expand or contract as the event approaches. The SPC's ongoing analysis will be critical in refining the forecast, taking into account dynamic factors such as cape values, wind shear, and moisture influx, which could dictate the ultimate scope and intensity of the event. Residents are encouraged to remain attuned to updated forecasts and emergency communications to ensure preparedness as this situation unfolds. Winter will briefly reassert itself in the northeast with a surge of cold air on Wednesday morning. However, this chill will be short-lived as warmer air is poised to advance northward into the region, establishing itself by Thursday and persisting through the remainder of the week. Temperatures across much of the northeast are forecasted to climb well into the 60s starting Thursday, offering a taste of spring-like conditions for several days. This mild period will extend across most of the northeast until late Sunday night into Monday morning, when a cold front, accompanied by considerable energy, is expected to sweep through. This frontal passage will usher in cooler conditions, with daytime highs on Monday dropping into the 40s across most areas. The reprieve from colder weather will be temporary, as a warming trend is anticipated to resume by Tuesday of the following week, with temperatures rising into the mid-60s and reaching the 70s by Wednesday, signaling a return to more temperate conditions. For the southeast, although winter appears to have relinquished its grip on the southeast, a significant weather event is on the horizon, as a robust system originating in the Central Plains is poised to bring severe conditions to the region. From Friday into Saturday, this system will drive heavy rainfall and thunderstorms across the southeast, potentially leading to hazardous conditions. Following this initial wave, a high-pressure system is expected to establish itself by the end of the weekend, temporarily stabilizing the atmosphere. However, this respite will be short-lived, as another low-pressure system is forecasted to introduce a second round of similar weather conditions early the following week, mirroring the impacts of the initial disturbance. The heaviest rainfall is anticipated to concentrate over Alabama, Georgia, and Mississippi, where the Storm Prediction Center (SPC) is maintaining close surveillance over the next few days to assess the potential for flash flooding and other severe weather phenomena. The combination of ample moisture and dynamic atmospheric lift from the approaching system could create conditions conducive to excessive rainfall, raising concerns for localized flooding in low-lying areas and along rivers prone to overflow. Additionally, the thunderstorms may bring gusty winds and a slight risk of isolated severe weather, such as hail or brief tornadoes, particularly where instability is highest. The SPC's ongoing monitoring will be crucial in refining the forecast, as factors such as the exact track of the low-pressure system, the degree of atmospheric instability measured by cape values, and the availability of wind shear could influence the severity of the event. Residents in the affected areas are advised to stay informed through local weather updates and to prepare for potential disruptions, including ensuring proper drainage around properties to mitigate flood risks. This pattern of successive weather systems underscores the volatile nature of early spring in the southeast, where the transition from winter to warmer seasons often brings a heightened risk of severe weather. As stronger convective available potential energy cape readings continue to intensify in the coming days, the Storm Prediction Center (SPC) is forecasting a series of severe weather events throughout the week. The majority of this atmospheric instability, concentrated aloft, is expected to foster robust convective patterns across the region, creating favorable conditions for the development of mesoscale convective systems (MCSS) and supercell formations. While the predominant severe weather impacts for this region are anticipated to include heavy flooding and powerful winds, there remains a notable possibility for the emergence of 1 or 2 strong tornadoes within the line of MCSS. The SPC's vigilant monitoring underscores the evolving nature of this weather system, with the potential for significant disruptions. Residents are advised to prepare for these conditions, particularly as the most pronounced effects are projected to materialize from Thursday into Friday. The combination of elevated cape values, sufficient moisture, and dynamic wind profiles could amplify the severity, making it imperative for communities to stay informed through local weather updates and emergency alerts as the situation develops. The Storm Prediction Center (SPC) has released its Day 2 and Day 3 outlooks, identifying a marginal risk of severe weather across the southeast, with the primary impact anticipated to affect Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama, and the Florida Panhandle. The SPC is currently forecasting the development of a potent line of mesoscale convective systems (MCSS), which are expected to generate heavy winds and torrential rainfall, posing significant challenges to the region. There exists a notable possibility that this risk level could be elevated to a higher severity category in the coming days, contingent upon the evolving atmospheric dynamics. Residents within these areas are strongly encouraged to closely monitor local weather stations and remain informed through any emergency broadcasts that may be issued over the next several days. This proactive approach is essential given the potential for rapid changes in the weather pattern. As the situation draws nearer to the event, adjustments to the risk zone size and severity may occur, reflecting the SPC's ongoing analysis of critical factors such as moisture availability, instability, and wind shear. Preparedness is paramount, as the combination of these elements could exacerbate the impact, particularly in vulnerable low-lying or urbanized regions. A sustained warming trend will persist across the southeast, with numerous areas experiencing daytime highs climbing well into the 70s, indicative of a marked shift towards spring-like conditions. Currently, nighttime lows are contributing to a significant temperature range. However, this disparity is expected to diminish as we progress into the following week, fostering a more balanced diurnal cycle. In higher elevation regions, where cooler temperatures typically linger, nighttime lows are forecasted to rise above freezing by next week, further signaling the transition to milder weather across the region. Rochester, New York, your local weather. New York, New York, your local weather. On Attila, Florida, your local weather. This is Weather World CC. Thank you for the support. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Subscribers can request a locale to place into the forecast outlook.